Hey guys, Virginity Boy here. I've collected a lot of manga over the lockdown period, and now I'm actually getting around to reading it. So here's my first manga review on the channel, and we're starting off with a slapper, Destiny Lovers Volume 1. Destiny Lovers is a comedy, drama, mystery, with a giant slap of ecchi smut all over it. It's borderline hentai at this point. Think prison school with more fetish gear and more ecchi, but that's impossible, right? Wrong! Written by Kazutaka and illustrated by Kai Tomohiro, Destiny Lovers starts off strong, with our main character Fujishiro Kosuke, who's a total loner and doesn't like the company of others. Waking up in a room he doesn't recognize, bound to a chair, he's shouting for help from anyone that may be nearby. The last thing he can remember is leaving school, where he shut down a girl trying to get close to him and take him to karaoke, because he wants to keep his promise. Afterwards, a van pulls up and kidnaps him. Reminiscing in the chair he's tied in, Fujishiro-kun is suddenly touched by someone behind him. Naturally, under these circumstances, he'd ask, "Who's there?" And a woman replies. The woman walks in front of Fujishiro-kun to reveal herself, barely wearing anything, showing off her large breasts and shocking our tied-up boy. She tries to seduce him, kissing him and touching him all over and climbing on him in his chair, with her end goal being to try and take Fujishiro-kun's virginity. Fujishiro-kun expresses to the girl that he doesn't want to and that he can't lose his virginity to her. He has a flashback to a childhood memory where he made a promise to a girl that he loved, that they would get married and that both of them would be each other's firsts. And this girl is Sayaka-chan. Unfortunately for Fujishiro-kun, the girl trying to seduce him is a hardcore masochist, so all of his efforts to try and push her away and say no is just making her try harder. She continues her efforts to seduce Fujishiro-kun until an alarm bell rings in the facility that they're in. She has a serious look on her face and has to get dressed and leave. Our main character is then wheeled away in a wheelchair by other girls in the facility and taken to a prison cell. The prison he's taken to isn't empty and has 4 other males inside. Now this is where my prison school comparison comes in. They're locked inside a prison without their say with other boys, being held captive by gorgeous girls in skimpy gear, and there's even a huge fat guy with a tiny face, just like prison school. After chatting with the boys in the cell, because what else can they do, they all come to the conclusion that they are virgins, and each of them were approached by a pretty girl who each wanted to take their virginity, saying it's to save humanity. After this chat, the warden shows up, asking each of them to hurry up and throw their virginity away. The moment the warden arrived, Fujishiro-kun felt some similarity with her, and said, "Sayaka-chan?" The warden doesn't agree or deny her identity, but pulls Fujishiro-kun to the bars of the cell and says, "Listen, never tell anyone what I'm about to say to you. If you don't want to die, keep that purity of yours, whatever happens." She lets go of Fujishiro-kun and walks away, leaving him more baffled than before. One of the boys managed to steal some keys from one of the girls, and they make their great escape. While they're walking around the facility, they hear gunshots and get scared because they're not sure what to do. Our main character, Fujishiro-kun, gets split off from the boys and runs around trying to find his way. He runs into the warden in the prison. Fujishiro-kun asks the warden once again, "Are you Sayaka?" And the warden's attitude completely changes from the hard-ass prison warden to some cutesy little girl that would say, "I would never forget our promise." Confused and caught, all the boys are taken back to their cells and have another discussion. Fatso wants his virginity taken by a hottie and no questions asked, and no one can blame him, and the rest discuss what their actions should be. We pan over to the girls' perspective in the warden's office. They discuss what they should do next after dealing with an intruder, and that's why there were gunshots. One of the girls offer another approach to how they can get the boy's virginity. She dresses up as a maid and heads over to the cell. Barely covering her large breast, she goes to the boys and calls them master, asking if they need anything to make them more comfortable. She offers them home-cooked food, a gym area to exercise, and hand massages, all from this stunning beauty. What man could resist, let alone virgins? The boys soon realized that she wasn't being nice out of the kindness of her own heart. No. Everything that she was doing was leading directly to their libido gain. All of the foods were rich in zinc and vitamin B to help boost libido, the daily exercise was to help them get pent up, and the massage was to help stimulate them. It was all a scheming plan to once again try and get the boys' virginity. The tip of the iceberg for this scheme was after the boys discovered what they were up to, the girls turned the air conditioning off, making it very cold in the facility and the prison. The boys are all wrapped up warm, trying to keep themselves from freezing. All the girls arrive also wrapped in blankets to the cell, asking if they can share their body heat, and it's really cold and cruel of them to not let them get warm. Each of the girls are assigned to a boy, and they each approach them. Sayaka, who is our main character's love interest, gets assigned to the gangster-looking boy. He interjects immediately, saying, "I want the director to warm me up personally. Since this is a request from your master, you have to obey, right?" The warden acts very nonchalantly and says, "Fine, I don't really care." Now this is where the series takes a very interesting turn and kind of shies away from the typical prison school ecchi harem locked in here kind of deal. The last 2 pages of volume 1 show a ruined Tokyo with a giant monster looking golem thing, which entices viewers obviously to buy volume 2, which I already have, so thanks for that, but it just gives the world much more layers and depth. That it's not just sluts being sluts and virgins being virgins. There is actually something else going on in the world, and there must be a reason linked to their virginity. So, just from reading volume 1 of Destiny Lovers, I am already hooked, because it's got pretty much everything that I want. It's got really good mystery, amazing ecchi, a good story, I think. Yeah, it's a little trashy in places, but if you know me, I adore trash. Like, I'll take this any day over something else. So, if you're into this kind of thing, then I definitely recommend it. As I said, I keep saying it's got prison school vibes, it's definitely harem-esque, and the pacing is really good, I find. Thank you very much for watching this video. It's very much a different editing style than what I usually do. I wanted to try something different, and I hope you all liked it. Please check out my social medias below, where I post on Twitter and Instagram, and once again, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time. Peace.